Welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode 272. Before we talk about the episodes for Kakuranger, which is episode 5 through 8, I have to say thank you for my viewer count in the last few episodes. Before the last episode I did only got one view, which was okay, fine, at least I'm going to watch it. But it appears as though since I brought the series back, the viewer count has gone up, which I appreciate that. I think like the episode where I looked up basically the viewer count for it. It was the episodes I talk about the end of the Quasars. That got the highest view count I've had in a while for that series. 46. That's actually pretty good in my opinion. But at least you'll watch my videos, which thank you for that. So, in the case of these 4 episodes, 5 through 8, 5 and 6 is another two-parter. And don't worry, 7 and 8 are 2 standalone episodes. Now, in the case of 5 and 6, we featured to talk about basically 2 different monsters in this one. Yeah, 2 monsters in these episodes. There is Nakabari, who is pretty much a giant wall. And there's also Makuran, who is a flasher, like show off his eyes. Yeah. The whole thing with these guys, it's like, oh, they want to play a game. So they kidnap what's his name here? Sorry about the they kidnap Siki, where he basically is running late because of stuff. Actually, he was trying to send clothes. Actually, it wasn't him. Yeah, it was him. I think it was. Wasn't it? Actually, it was other where basically he was trying to close up, but he had no money to pay, so he ran away. So then, of course, a kid basically he saves a kid from a truck, and the kid notices he dropped his wallet, so he went to return it to him, and then that's when the brothers strike, where they transform into a maze, and so he gets to the maze no problem. The kid keeps wandering about, so he's given a gold coin, which is lost by the end of the episode, dropped down a drain. That apparently is worth 50,000 yen. This one piece of gold coin. And he's given it as a thank you for beating the maze. So, the very next episode, after they get beaten up by the Kakurangers, the brothers, well, they want revenge. So, let's have the Flasher fall in love with basically I want to make sure I pronounce his name correctly. Terasami. Kaku White. Ninja White. Yeah, he's fallen madly in love with her and tricked her into marrying him. And then basically to have, she's like, no, we're not. According to this way, we have this marriage situation. So they have this divorce court in Yokai. And it's like, okay, we're not going to pay any alimony, but you have to participate in the sentence of the fried eye, which means you have to sacrifice your eye. And look up the Kakuranger show up and save her. And of course, the Paris Beef at the end of the episode. And by episode 6, all the monsters that show up in episode 1 have all been defeated. Yes, at this point in time. Which, that is something. Like, all those first 6 monsters that show up in episode 1, at this point in time, they've all been defeated. Though episode 6 does show up a monster who shows up in the next episode, Gatsuki. Yeah, this is the first of the two I'm going to talk about. He basically is a massive eater. Yeah. And this guy did show up on Power Rangers in the episode Rita's Pita, where the whole thing with this one is like, oh, we're going to have Tommy eating. Yes, Tommy eating. Yeah, it was that episode. So, which you're thinking that's interesting. So then, of course, it goes inside the one who's the eater of the team, Ninja Yellow, Siki. Which, yes, this is a common recurring gag when it comes to the Yellow Rangers. They are massive eaters. They're gluttons. And there's no. Here's the thing. Despite the fact he's a massive eater, he at least keeps a good figure with him. And of course, ditches ninja practice in order to eat. Or apparently, like eating like cut sandwiches, like a hot dog and a roll. And then, of course, basically, Ninja White is like, "Why you skip practice?" His ninja confiscates food. He of course complains and like, "Ooh, I smell hamburgers." And that's when he introduced the monster episode where apparently he's at the Japanese equivalent to McDonald's. How do I know this? Because I think I do remember McDonald's kind of look like this in the 90s. Where he's like, "Ooh," he's like, "I want to eat your food." So he lifts up the apron, revealing a giant mouth as his belly. And then he transforms into, and of course, then he goes inside Sucky, and of course, he goes giant size. And then he admits something that is completely forgotten about by the end of the episode, where he's in giant form eating all this stuff, and then he admits to Ninja White that he's in love with her, which apparently gives inspiration to help him, because like, oh, let's have her transform into a hamburger, and have him reach for it. He's like, I can't do it, and then like, oh, that's when the monster comes out of his body, and he eats the thing and it wants to be the monster. And that monster showed up just the previous episode, episode 6. Yeah, and you're thinking, okay, are they out of monsters now at this point, where they were just introduced very early on? Well, not really per se. There is a couple more. Well, yeah, there's a few more monsters, basically, who did show up in episode 3. They're still around. I'll talk about episode 8 in just a minute. So, these monsters show up in episode 3, but they've not been defeated just yet because they're still be featured in the show. There's Kakuranger, Kamari, and that's it. Those two are the only ones left. Yep, they have two that show up in episode 3 that are left in the show because mostly put everyone else has been defeated at this point. Episode 8 is to put featuring the cat monster. Yep, we have a cat monster who here's the thing, this monster never appeared in Power Rangers. Never did. And you're probably thinking, of the 6 monsters, basically 8 monsters at this point in time, did they pop Power Rangers? The Kappa did. Yes. As Parrot Top. How about the second one? Recovery, his wife in the series. She, of course, would pop up as Cruella de Quid in Zeo. Yep, in Zeo. Origama, the taxi one, did he pop up on Power Rangers? Yes, as Crafty Krabby. Okay, Akari, the one who's the yokai policeman. Did he pop up Power Rangers? Yes, as a monster known as Garbage Moth. I am not kidding about that. Yeah, his first appearance was in Different Shade of Pink, Part 2. That was his very first appearance. Now, this guy was known for transforming into a police officer. I'm going to look up and see. Did he transform into a police officer in Power Rangers? No. He didn't. Okay, so what about the Wall Monster? Yeah. Did he pop on Power Rangers? He did. As Brick Bully. And he appeared for 7 episodes. The first appearance was Another American the Wall. Oh, by the way, he is the original voice actor for that episode, Richard Epicard. Yes, Richard Epicard. Really good voice actor who basically voiced a lot of monsters in Power Rangers. He's, well, apparently best known voicing Mahelismon from Digimon. Yep. And what about the Flasher? McCurran. Oh yeah, I remember this guy popping the show. He was the Sea Monster. No, I'm not kidding about that. He was simply known as Sea Monster. Yeah, I guess because the kids show they couldn't use the whole thing of him being a flasher. So, and what about the eating one? Oh yeah, he did. Yamakowski, who is reanimator, but Benko, the cat monster, she did not. Her boots did. Yes, believe it or not, her boots did. Yeah. So her basically her left hand and the fur on her arm did pop on Power Rangers as a giant form of Scorpina. Yes, seriously. So what's her plot? She doesn't like the fact how humans treat cats. So we also have it where she spirits away children to be eaten by other monsters. These random yokai who don't have names. I've tried looking up who these people are. I don't know what these people creatures are. So there's that. And also, by the way, there's a couple things I forgot to mention in my last review, and that was basically a couple of vehicles that the Kakuranger used. Yes, the Kakuranger don't basically run around. They actually have transportation. Two different ones. There's Nekomaru, who plays a big one in episode 8. What is this What is this vehicle? It is a cat theme food truck. Yep. A sentient cat themed food truck. And they serve cream pies. This basically is their side business while being Kakarangers. This basically pays their bills. Yep. Nothing unusual about this. Not really. And there's also the shark machines. What to simply put, they're motorcycles. Because of course we gotta have motorcycles. Gotta have toys for the kids. And these did pop up Power Rangers, but yet the ones for Zoo Ranger, one that my Power Rangers, they did briefly, according to her, I kind of forgot this happened. Apparently in one of the episodes for Mighty Power Rangers Season 1, we did briefly see the actual motorcycles used by Zoo Ranger briefly in a background shot. Yes, because for some reason they couldn't afford to use these things, but yet they used the shark cycles in Season 3. Does that make any sense? Yeah. They pop up maybe 2 or 3 times, but mostly they're just there at the beginning. They don't use them very much, surprisingly. There is Shark Bender, Shark Cider, and Shark Launcher. Yeah. Ninja Red uses, Slide Bender, the red one. Slide Slider, blue. Yellow is Shark Launcher. White, I believe, sits in the sidecar for one of them. Yeah, white does, and I believe black does too. But I had to bring those up because I completely forgot to talk about them in my last video when it comes to them. Yep. And of course, basically the Camaro, the food truck comes into play because they kind of drag the situation. Of course, they battle the monster. They kind of defeat him off screen. The cat theme monster goes giant size and defeat it anyways. But 8 was an okay episode. I think it was terrible. I'd say of the 4 episodes, I think the 2-part was pretty interesting for what it was. I do appreciate. It's interesting though that the sea monster appears in the show, where he appears for 2 straight episodes before he gets killed off. While in Power Rangers, he appeared for 1 episode. Yep. But yeah, not much else to say about these episodes. Okay, so that's the episode review. When I get back, I'm going to talk about the Kakuranger movie. Okay, next video. Bye.